Hello again, everyone. Saki here, and welcome to Victoria 3. I want to thank Christoph with Paradox for providing me with the key for Victoria 3, and I'm excited to get started. In order to prepare for this series, I played Victoria 2 as Japan, and we'll see exactly how we're going here. Let's go ahead and start. And I chose to learn how to play Victoria 3 and chose Japan. So Inari Tokugawa is shogun of the Japanese shogunate. The Industrial Revolution is well underway, bringing cataclysmal social change. More than 20 years have passed since the Congress of Vienna imposed semblance of order upon Europe, and unrest is once again starting to brew among great powers. It will be up to you to guide the Japanese shogunate to glory. Over the following century, there is no way to win. Victoria 3, set your own goals. All right, next. So, of course, we influence the politics, economics, diplomacy, and warfare, and all of that goes back to our country and population, of course. All right, so we have our bureaucracy, authority, and influence. All right, all positive. I like the look of that, and I like the look of our balance, that is for sure. So it looks like starting off with the shogunate, 49.9% of all policymakers are shogunate, and they are happy. It'll be interesting to see what the shogunate wants as far as the laws pass. And we also have samurai, so a good majority in just these two interest groups, with Buddhist monks, peasants, and the intelligentista bringing up the opposition. 44,000 are coming in and 31,000 are going out, running middle of the road with no luxury taxes. Interesting enough. So starting off as Japan, we already have textile mills, furniture manufacturers, glasswork, paper, shipyards, the urban center, and government administration. And some wheat, rice, livestock, dye, tea, tobacco, silk, logging camps, fishing wharves, whaling stations, 1,700 subsistence farms. We have to get those people employed in some more gainful employment, that is for sure. And even subsistence orchards. Interesting in Ryukyu. 105 barracks, 132 conscription centers, and 3 ports. And we have 2 construction sectors with a total of 9 total construction. We're in the Japanese market, interesting, with opium being the most expensive good. Everything else pretty much middle of the road. What is the cheapest good? So sugar, really cheap. Oil, tea, dye, and grain really cheap. That's good to feed our people, that's for sure. Now, one thing I was anticipating starting this is trade routes. Japan is isolationist. We don't want nothing to do with anyone, and that will help me sort of stay on an island, literally and figuratively, to try to figure this out. However, we do need to make all of the things that our people need in-house, so that might be a challenge. And the majority of our GDP is coming from Kansai, Chubu, Kyushu, and Kanto. We do have a little bit in Chugoku, Tohoku, Shikoku, Japanese Hokkaido, and Ryukyu, really bringing up the rear. We have 105 battalion regulars and are able to call in 132 battalions of conscripts. We have 3 generals with us, Nariaki Tokugawa, Hidetatsu Igawa, and Yozu Tori. Interesting enough. So it looks like 1 shogunate general there, 1 shogunate general there, and a petite bourgeoisie general there at the Japan HQ. Interesting. And interesting enough, we have no flotillas in Japan. So we have some trade convoys that we can't use and no ships to sail on. And if you're wondering if we can release the subject as Japan, we can release Ezo, the Japanese Ainu. So way up north in Hokkaido, the Ezo can be released, but we're not going to do such things as these. Tech Tree will passively learn the atmospheric engine in 4 years. We don't know about the cotton gin. We know up to distillation. We know up to steelworking and prospecting. Military-wise, we have no naval to speak of. The Admiralty is as much as we go. We know about dry docks. We know about a standing army, the military drill, gunsmithing, and artillery. Everything else is open. As far as society goes, we know about democracy. We can research academia, mass communications. We can also research colonization, currency standards, and the stock exchange. Interesting enough, we can go down to the modern sewage, the central archives, and egalitarianism as well. Looks like we have 4 cultures in Japan, Japanese making up 99.9% of our population, with Ainu, Han, and Micronesian as well. Our upper strata and middle strata are secure, our lower strata is struggling. And it's because of this subsistence buildings that they're working in. 89% of our lower strata are just basically farming on their own land. Let's see if we can help that in the grand scheme of things. Our peasants represent 84% of our population, but only 20% of our political strength. The aristocrats doing the heavy lifting there. Journal entries all grayed out, can't do any of them yet. As far as decisions go, we can hold a grand exhibition eventually, or adopt state Shinto religion. Interesting enough, we need the Honorable Restoration journal entry, which will happen if the shogunate is no longer part of our government, basically kicking out 50% of our voting power. I have a bad feeling that would radicalize quite a few folks. So we have 3 unread messages here in our situation. We have unused construction, so we need to get building. We do have a surplus that we're running right now, so I think we can build okay. We also can declare an interest. Interesting. So right now we can hold 1 strategic interest, and if we were to move on, we could interest Manchuria or interest Siberia. We could also interest down here in Indonesia as well. If we have access to the Indonesian market, that might be awesome. Or we could do, say, North China. Now, this is probably a mistake, but since Manchuria is literally across the pond, we'll go ahead and declare that interest as well to sort of see what's going on in Korea and Eastern China. So like Victoria 2, it looks like we are suffering with insufficient taxation capacity. Looks like we don't have enough administration to collect all the taxes. Now, that would be a big thing if we were running a deficit. We could try to get some of those taxes back. So for now, I think we need to start some construction sectors, get some buildings going, and then we might focus on some administration capacity. All right, as we've unpaused, it gave us a journal entry. Expand a basic building. Complete a level 4 rice farm in Kansai. Okay. So rice farms in Kansai use aristocrats, clergymen, farmers, and laborers. All right, so in 17 weeks, we will have that upgraded rice farm. Losing power rank, I imagine so. So Joseon is improving our mutual relations. Outstanding. And since we have 1,000 diplomacy, and it only costs 112.5 to maintain, I think we can mutually begin relations with Korea as well. We're learning about the stock exchange, the paddle steamer, and the cotton gin. And we're expanding that basic building. And I like 23 months to research academia. Unlocks the university, private schools, romanticism, medical degrees, and empiricism. So we will adjust that shift to academia. Hopefully some of that spreads. Price of wood is going up. Silk is about maintaining. It says it's down, but it's only down by 0.1 pound. All right, our Manchurian interest is now activated, so we can do diplomacy with Russia, Korea, and the Qing. A month in, we're starting to get 1,000 radicals. From buildings where they had ownership shares, the most from being fired, 319 from discrimination, and 460 from a decrease in standard of living. So there's 1.67 million peasants living in Kansai. None of them are unemployed, but some of those subsistence farmers will hopefully move to this new rice farm once it is up and running. And Great Britain has shown an interest in Japan, interestingly enough. And there are 444 subsistence farms in the Kansai region as well. So hopefully that number will drop in about 6 weeks' time. While we're waiting for that to build, let's take a look at our laws here. So we are in a monarchy, autocracy, with national supremacy. We can do a church and state freedom of conscience, so we can go to a state religion. Ooh. No, I don't want to do that, that's for sure. We can try to go from peasant levies to a professional army for an 8% chance. The petite bourgeoisie, industrialists, and the peasants like it, but the trade unions won't, but they're marginalized. That won't be a big thing. So do we want to try to go for a professional army? 25% more samurai armed forces political strength. The samurai themselves are traditionalists. They strongly oppose women's suffrage, oppose women in the workplace, strongly oppose the separation of church and state, and oppose freedom of conscience. So I think the biggest bang for our buck here might be going professional army. The samurai plus 20, the petite bourgeoisie plus 10. A couple of the generals, of course, like it. The peasants also endorse it, allowing our peasants a little bit more happiness. And the trade unions, they're really not a factor. So let's see if we can enact a professional army while we wait. Aha, so honest work activated, plus 10 for our logging, agriculture, and ranches. For the throughput, samurai, extra offense and defense, outstanding. All right, 1 week for this rice farm to upgrade. Once it kicks in, we should see the employment increase, and hopefully the weekly balance increases as well. Aha, rice farm is upgraded. 5,000 openings. All right, the building can now support the larger workforce and produce more goods. You'll also no longer have to pay weekly material costs for the goods required in expansion. Yes, indeed, our profit goes back up. All right, so it's expanded. We've got some vacancies that we are going to fill. One thing that I'm going to look at is, yes, indeed, we lost one substance farm. We'll see if a few more go down as more farmers move in to that rice farm. Once it is fully employed, we'll see what kind of dent that made in our subsistence farm. And I think while we wait, yeah, we would lose a lot of money if we swap to iron frame. So let's just make another construction sector. And let's put it in, let's see, Hokkaido? So hopefully those goods start moving into this construction here. Yes, indeed, 5 weeks away. They're ordering their fabric and wood. And now to change a production method. Wheat Farms is a building whose earnings could be improved by changing the production method. New production method on wheat farms in Japanese Hokkaido. So if we change our wheat farm in Hokkaido to a citrus orchard, we would produce less grain but gain fruit and sugar, and fruit looks to be pretty profitable indeed. Let's go ahead and swap that out then. Let the workers resort themselves. We need 500 more folks, and then we'll start producing fruit and more sugar. Outstanding. And we need it active for 4 total weeks. Outstanding. So it looks like, yes indeed, 4 weeks our new construction sector will come online, as well as completing the citrus farm. So the petite bourgeoisie are now influential. They used to be marginalized. Middle managers activated, so extra bureaucracy, that's what I like to see. And treasury bonds. Ooh, a better loan interest rate. Interesting. Looking at the overview, so the petite bourgeoisie, can we put them in the government now that they are influential? So interesting. The petite bourgeoisie like appointed bureaucrats. When we get that, we get extra taxation capacity, which we were struggling with, as well as a boost to political strength of the intelligentsia. So can we put the bourgeoisie in the government? What would happen? Oh, a massive drop in legitimacy. And I don't know how that would affect. Though if we pulled out the samurai, yeah, let's not rock the boat too awful much while we're still learning. Throw ourselves into a civil war before the tutorial is even over. We need a level 5 textile mill in Kansai. We can definitely do that, and I believe, yes, we're building 1 week till our construction sectors get done, and then the textile mills will kick in, and then hopefully that will employ a lot more people in Kansai and get rid of more substance farms. Right now we're at 444. And looking at the information tab, this is just intense. With all the different modifiers. Yeah, you could definitely get yourself into the weeds in all of this stuff. All right, the Intelligentista has dropped their effect of minus 10% prestige. That's what I like to see. We're at 10 out of 10. Japanese Hokkaido construction coming online. And interesting to note, building the construction center in Japanese Hokkaido, it took it a minute to get the full employment in there. So I think we are doing okay. Shogun intervenes in a political process, eh? All right, personal interest in the professional army. All right, the Shoguns will be done. A 20% better enactment success chance. The Shogunate gets royal prerogative used, Intelligentista gets dropped. Or no, the Shoguns will be done. Drop the Shogunate's power a bit. So 44.8, if we can keep working on getting the Shogunate's clout down, we can move them swiftly without teeing off 30,000, 40,000 extra radicals. And luckily, there's no chance in the army stalling, a 61% chance of debate, 12% advancing, and a 1/4% chance to enact it. So let's get it done. All right, I want to see if I can help lower this radical. 18,000 from decreases in the standard of living. If I knew where these 18,000 were, I might be able to like lower their taxes or something. Or is this like a lump sum? I remember in Victoria 2, you could see which specific groups were radicalizing or becoming militant, and you could sort of see why they were upset. But looking in the population, I don't see any radicals. So it looks like they're sort of lumping them all into one big lump sum. If we lower the consumption tax rate down 7%, then there would be less radicals from standard of living decreases. And that would lower 5K. We would still be able to float while constructing. So let's lower taxes by 1 tick and see if these radicals start going down, or at least not ticking up so quickly. Oh snap, gold is discovered in Hokkaido. The state region can now support gold fields. Oh man. So it looks like the gold field is already here. They just need to employ some folks. However, they were also working in our construction center, so it would be interesting to see if we lose construction power with all of these folks jumping at the bit to start taking in gold. So the opposition members put forth demands. The inclined members of the Shogunate opposed to the passing of the professional army have offered to change their stance were they to be offered political concessions. Such concessions would not be popular with the samurai. So, a 15% boost, the samurai gets interest approval, or we could lower the enactment success chance and the samurai get +1 interest group approval. I want to improve the success and lower the samurai as well. The bill must pass. 41% chance of passing this now, with a 46% chance of debate, so it's almost 50-50. Luckily, it's not going to get stalled out. All right, expand the building was successful. Unused construction capacity, and we have to fix an unproductive building. So fishing wharves in Ryukyu are not doing too awful well. So they're making 17 per week. What does this say here? Of what you've learned with buildings and production methods to resolve the problem, they need productivity of 5 pounds or be subsidized for 4 weeks. So let's take a look at the fishing wharves here. If we go to fishing trawlers, there's not enough qualifications, but we will make 25 extra pounds. We make 25 fish. We'll use more clippers. We lose some laborers, but need some machinists. Interesting. We can't do refrigeration, and we can't subsidize. So the only thing we can do is give them some fishing trawlers. All right, in we go. Great Britain is making a move on Ashanti. So just as we're minding our own business, of course, the UK, Great Britain's going to Great Britain and is heading south to the Kumasi in Ghana. So I believe what I will do is, now that we have construction open up, fruit is really expensive. If we can make some fruit, that will decrease the costs and allow our folks to get more fruit. Although it kind of seems like sort of a luxury good, as it were. We could also try to make clothing. I just need something for the folks of Kansai to do, so we could increase the textile mill up a level. Although the price of luxury clothes took a little bit of a dip and the price of silk is going up, and we are using silk and fabric. So it's kind of, we're paying more and not getting as much back for the luxury clothes, but I'm hoping the regular clothes will be okay. I'm not liking this throughput bonus, economy of scale. But first I'll put a new fishing wharf at the top of the queue here in Ryukyu. Try to get that profitable. They're running a positive balance now, so I think we can continue to do that. And they need productivity of at least 5 pounds. Looking at the weekly balance, we're at 48. Oh, productivity is at 4.6. So hopefully another fishing wharf can increase that productivity up. They're pegged on employment and plenty of reserve cash as well. So hopefully there are some folks in Ryukyu that are, I mean, none unemployed, but 51,000 peasants. Hopefully some will perhaps get off of subsistence farms and go to work at the fishing wharf. Professional Army has fared poorly in public debates, decreasing enactment's success by 10%. Still at 31 though, but a very good chance of going to a debate and a very small chance of it actually advancing. On a positive note though, academia is 4 months away, unlocking universities, a private school, romanticism, medical degrees, and empiricism. And the number of radicals are not as much. I think we're at 13,000 and then up 5,000, so 22K total, and we're sort of topping off the chart. Maybe a lot of these folks are getting better work, improving their own standard of living, let's say. All right, fishing wharves are now level 2. Let's get some employment in here, get some folks off the subsistence farms. All right, now that it is employed, productivity is a little bit less. So do we go back to simple fishing? It says it will lose, but we won't be paying for the fishing boats, but then we'll be losing a lot of fish. We'll lose half of our fish. Do we get more productive by letting the machinists go? Just bringing in laborers? I mean, this is a tutorial. Let's just experiment and see what happens. The debate's still ongoing for the professional army. Tokugawa of the bourgeoisie has approached us with an offer to expedite the process utilizing his personal connections. All right, so the shogunate, interest group approval, or we gain enactment time. Yeah, let's do some underhanded tactics. Why not? Michisura Mitsune of the Industrials has retired from political life. Oh, because he died. Well, I guess that's a good way to retire. And academia is now unlocked. Outstanding. Now let's find us a research technology. Now we're almost halfway to the cotton gin. And even though we don't have any cotton, do we? We don't have any cotton plantations, but we can build one. Do we build it in Kansai to help some of those subsistence farmers? And then all the while, we will research the cotton gin to help them out 6 to 9 months. So by the time the textile mills get done and the cotton field is set up, we should have cotton gins ready to go. All right, fishing wharf has not come to fruition. So let's put the clippers back in, see if we can get more fish for more profit. But the price for fish also went down, so I don't know if that counts for productivity or not. We'll see. Yep, price of clippers went up, responding to our need for them. 590 per batch of 10? Yeah, 590 for the batch of 10. However, the weekly balance is starting to go up for the cash reserve, so that is productivity going up, and we may have to expand to another fishing wharf to get that over the 5 pounds per week that we need. So we'll go ahead and add that to the queue. So right now we are building the textile mills for 8 weeks in the Kansai district. Then we're going cotton in Kansai to get rid of subsistent farm. And then we're moving on to those fishing wharves. And we've almost maxed out our relations with Korea to a maximum of plus 50. Then we might be able to start talking to the Qing a bit. Just make sure that we aren't steamrolled while we're trying to learn how to do this thing. Radicals slowly coming to the top of the hill, 1.6 thousand since March. But my next tech after the cotton gin, I'm gonna look to see if we can increase our taxation capacity. The textile mills in Kansai have been updated, so hopefully we can get some folks in there. And we're 11 weeks away from the cotton plantation and 13 to 18 left on the cotton gin. So just as that cotton plantation stands up, cotton gin moves in, and that one should be pretty productive. All right, so plus 50. Let's do some diplomacy with the Qing and see if we can improve their relations as well. And ooh, negative 30. So it is a good time for us to continue to improve. So usually in Crusader Kings, when you hover over why it's so poor, you can sort of get a breakdown of why they're sitting where they are. But we're improving, but I can't see why they don't like us to begin with. But either way, oh, interestingly enough, Abraham Lincoln is president in 1838. That's a little early, I think. And also, since we have common interests, let's improve relations with the United Kingdom, Great Britain over here, because it doesn't hurt to have a friend. Rousing speech captivates the public. Interesting. Tokugawa, leader of the petite bourgeoisie. This dude's like our bro. This general really fighting for us here. This should ease the path to reform greatly. Plus 15 success chance. Or he gets popularity and the bourgeoisie get pop attraction. If we could say that some of the shogunate would move to the petite bourgeoisie, that would be worth it. But I don't know who would come over. But since he's been a bro, we'll give him some recognition, and we will allow the bourgeoisie to be kind of popular, trying to get more power and hopefully taken away from the shogunate. Hopefully some of the shogunate are like, hey, no, I want to be petite bourgeoisie. And meanwhile, cotton field is stood up. We are doing our hiring. Great Britain has stopped improving relations. Great Britain has improved our relations. Okay, well, they are cautious. And there is our cotton gin, more throughput, and we can research the lathe, and that should have kicked in really quick. Yes, throughput, 25% for the cotton gin. Hopefully that will increase the balance and productivity, getting more cotton to market. Aha, the central archives, but it takes 8 years as opposed to 3 to 5 months. If we do some currency standards, now let's just get the stock exchange real quick. 3 to 5 months left, we're already there. Oh, Great Britain's going to move in on the Great Qing to take a treaty port. Holy Hong Kong, Batman. All right, as it looks like there is a big demand for furniture, and we have some unemployed, well, you know, workers that could work. I think we can do a furniture manufactory here in Kansai, in Kyoto. Try to get that up and running. All right, so the biggest contributing factor to radicals now is discrimination, and I don't, like the sound of that at all. And yeah, this professional army seems to be stalling out quite a bit. Yeah, let's look for another law we can try to pass with some better success. Well, 2 of our generals decided to have a duel. Your insults cannot go unanswered. Pick a weapon or choice and we will meet tomorrow. Oh, nearly a 50-50 chance one of them dies. They both lose popularity. Or the shogunate gets... Oh, we should ban dueling. The shogunate gets disapproval, interest group approval, and interest group approval for the intelligentista. Yeah, we'll ban dueling. Stop it. All right, and with 3 fishing wharves in Ryukyu at fishing trawler method, we've finally crossed 5 pounds per year productivity. We're unable to fully hire, but it's still running fairly well. Okay. All right, we fixed an unproductive building. The productivity has recovered, paving the way for increased wages, dividends, or both. You could always capitalize by raising taxes before the workforce gets used to financial improvements. All right, so grow GDP. We have to increase it by 4.1 million. And I think that will be a good stopping point for now. So, interesting to dip my toes in it. It's starting to come a little bit better for me, I believe. And we have some tension up north with the Ainu Mozir. Interesting enough. So they have 23 battalions. They're just in the Ainu market by themselves. I don't know if we have any sort of casus belli against them, or perhaps we might be able to move in. But that will be for another time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next Victoria 3 video. Take care.